I believe that sustainable procurement is important to KPMG because it takes what we hold dear as a firm in terms of our purpose and our values, and it makes sure that we embed that in our supply chain. Our world is becoming ever more complicated. The business world is complex, it's very interconnected. Threats are coming from all different areas, whether it's around climate change, whether it's about labour rights, whether it's about marches against capitalism. All these things play to the corporate arena. We need to be fit and able to be able to respond to those, and actually working with our suppliers to take some of these threats and turn them into opportunities. I do believe that some of our suppliers hide their light under a bushel, so there's lots of things that they are doing at an organisational level that they are not taking the time to share with us at KPMG. Our Sustainable Procurement Programme focuses on 3 key pillars: environment, living wage and diversity in the supply chain. With the launch of our new Supplier Management Programme, we're now weaving the Sustainable Procurement Programme into that. Let's talk about the impact that's going to have with our suppliers and the engagement on that programme.
It's definitely one of the core elements of our programme. We're absolutely focused on driving sustainable procurement through supplier management. It's looking at our top 50 suppliers. We want to innovate, and we also want to create long-term sustainable relationships with our suppliers.
So how will the Supplier Management Programme help us to engage our own people with the whole sustainable procurement agenda?
We want people to wholly understand where we're going with this, and we want people to genuinely want to make a difference. So what we're doing is focusing them around the programme, getting them to understand the 3 core areas of the programme.
And what are some of the benefits you think the programme will drive?
One is on mitigation of risk, making sure that we're sourcing and we're utilising our supply base ethically and sustainably, looking to drive innovation. So what new ideas do our suppliers have that they've done perhaps with their other clients that we can actually introduce and embed into our business?
The environmental agenda is important to KPMG because the future is going to be much less resource intensive, much less carbon intensive, and the businesses that adapt quickly, the businesses that adapt effectively will be the businesses that will succeed in the future. How can we deliver more but consume less? Our suppliers have got deep knowledge about sustainability. There's so much that we can learn from them. The more that we can learn from our suppliers and implement that in our own business, the more effective we're going to be.
Diversity and inclusion is a really important agenda item for KPMG. I think firstly, in terms of our clients, this is a really important board level issue for our clients. Secondly, for our employees, the fact that the majority of new entrants into UK labour markets nowadays are from minority groups, so we need to make sure that we're talking to them and engaging them. Thirdly, from a productivity perspective, we know that people perform better when they can be themselves, and people can bring their whole self to work. So we want to make sure that we're creating the kind of inclusive environment where that can happen. Fourthly, in terms of decision making, we need to have cognitive diversity to get those better decisions and to avoid groupthink. And fifthly, from an ethical perspective, there is a crisis of trust in business and society. Our suppliers are a critical piece of the puzzle. People that supply our goods and services and that work with us essentially as partners are a key solution to the diversity and inclusion challenges we face.
Living wage has really matured from a niche issue to mainstream because business has started taking it seriously. This is about supplier engagement. So it's work with us in partnership. How can we make this change happen? It's going to be good for you, for your company, it's going to be good for your employees, which means it's going to be good for KPMG as well. I think the tide is changing. Living wage is a social issue. It's going exactly the same route, same way fair trade did.
You can't be a professional industry proud of yourselves if, at the end of the day, people working in that industry cannot earn enough money to put food on the table for their families. The facilities sector now embraces the living wage. The sector itself has found that the quality of service and the quality of delivery is much higher on living wage accounts.
We recognise that without our suppliers we would not be able to make the progress that we have made over the last 3 years, we certainly would not have been able to achieve our BITC Big Tick Award. This programme relies very much on buyers and sellers coming together and collaborating and innovating around the supply chain. We have been able to do that because our suppliers are participating and supporting us. So I'd like to say thank you to you for supporting our programme. We really appreciate it.